I feel better than I was 21 years old, and I'm about to be 60 years old. In the United States, we have 76% of the American public with a chronic disease. We're in a mission that's bigger than ourselves. We feel the pain and suffering of the public, and that's what drives us every day to try to show them that they are solutions, that they should have hope. Well, and what I love is the fact that you've taken the time not to only help thousands of patients, but you're actually educating us doctors into not only how to understand it, but how to implement it into our practices. I wanted to be a doctor since I was 16 years old. And then 6 months before, I got involved in a car accident, led me to a doctor of chiropractic. The referral doctor at the hospital said, I can give you painkillers and muscle relaxers, but you need to see my chiropractor. Well, that experience changed my life because that doctor not only introduced me to the natural health sciences, but also the concept of innate intelligence, universal intelligence, the fact that the body is a self-healing organism, the fact that we shouldn't spend time and energy and money managing symptoms, but we got to get to the root cause of a problem.
Welcome everybody to the Peptide Pulse, and today I know I always say that I'm honored and excited to have guests on this podcast, but today I don't know if elated is the right word. I am like beyond excited to have you here. Everybody, if you're watching, if you're listening, this is Dr. Fab Mancini. We have honestly, man, over the last couple of years, we've just connected, really, like beyond just in business. It's just a true friendship, and it's been an honor because, and I would say connected, it's like our hearts just kind of hit. It's like we sit in that same wavelength of truly wanting to transform the lives of the people that we stand in front of, whether it's on stage or, your book, man. The self-health has been incredible, and I'm almost speechless because you get to sit here with me right now. But you're just so humble, man. Your heart to change the lives of people and what you've been doing for so many years, it's an inspiration for me. It truly is. And we've done this before. I don't know why I'm crying right now, but you just have such a passion to transform the lives of people that it pushes me. It pushes me to do more. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I mean, truly thank you. And for those that don't know you, how dare you? You should know this man. Please share with them a little bit about you, please.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, and that the feeling is mutual. Yeah. And I think that even though we've known each other and of each other for some time, when we reconnected, I think we both recognize what like-minded and like-hearted people can always tell from one another, and that is that we're in a mission that's bigger than ourselves. Yeah. We feel the pain and suffering of the public, and that's what drives us every day to try to show them that they are solutions, that they should have hope. But I wanted to be a doctor since I was 16 years old, and I thought it was going to be medicine, so I went to pre-med school. I got one of the best pre-med schools in the country. And if I passed that, I could go to any medical school I wanted. So I got accepted at Harvard and Johns Hopkins. And then 36 months before, I got involved in a car accident, led me to a doctor of chiropractic. The referral doctor at the hospital said, I can give you painkillers and muscle relaxers, but you need to see my chiropractor. Well, that experience changed my life because that doctor not only introduced me to the natural health sciences, but also the concept of innate intelligence, universal intelligence, the fact that the body is a self-healing organism, the fact that we shouldn't spend time and energy and money managing symptoms, but we got to get to the root cause of a problem. And I just dedicated, in fact, this is my 38th year in this space, contributing at a high level, trying to shift the mindsets and the behaviors of millions of people around the world, that they need to understand that health is a choice and that their body is the only body they're going to have, so they better take care of it.
Amen, man. That, I think, and if you're listening, he said millions of people around the world, and that has been your impact.
Over 25 countries, and And almost every state in the United States. It's been insane.
Yeah. And how many years? 30?
38.
38. I mean, you can't be older than 45, right? I mean.
Well, I'm going to be 60 years old this year. And I tell you, my biological age is so young. I mean, my x-ray, my physiological x-ray is better than when I was 21 years old. I put them side by side a year ago. And you would think they were opposite. I have no arthritis in my spine at all. All of my discs are full curvatures. And my chiropractor was like, "Oh my gosh, you have like a young spine." And I said, "Well, the spine regenerates itself every 17 years. Most people don't realize that regeneration, our bodies are meant to regenerate themselves. We just, unfortunately, are doing some really making bad choices when it comes to our health."
Absolutely. I mean, we have new skin every 21 days. We have new blood every 90 days. A single cell creates over 1 million reactions within a second, which is crazy to think of. And yeah, I mean, you're celebrating 60, man, but this is what regeneration does. With so many people, I mean, that goes to our point and our passion to like, we live in a world, in a society that it's like, we're going to get old. We're going to get crippled. We're going to have to be taken care of. And I'm like, why do we just accept that?
Yeah.
We shouldn't. I mean, we all talk about like generational wealth. What about generational health?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I love your self-health. We've talked about this in multiple times. The first time I was listening to you speak, I was like, that guy. I'm like, that guy. Like, that guy. But we talk about like lifespan. You talk about health span. And then I've taken it further and I tell people, what about your heal span?
Yeah.
Like, what is it and how we heal? You talk about biological age and chronological age. Everybody has the ability to do this. There's really no exceptions. It's just the exception of what we want to choose to do to get there, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's really what your book is about, right?
Yeah, and one of the things that I believe a lot of people are still not aware of is that your basic testing out there of blood and urine and other things like that are very limited in information when it comes to preventing disease and, more importantly, understanding the biomarkers that functional medicine now is bringing up to the world. So we have many movements. You know, we started with the wellness movement, and then now we have functional medicine, integrative medicine, regenerative medicine, biohacking. All of these things are just a sign that the people are ready to try to identify solutions to problems that the traditional methods of pharmaceutical are not even coming close to solving. In the United States, we have 76% of the American public with a chronic disease. 76%. If you're 60 years old or over, it's 3 or 4 chronic diseases. 54% of our children have a chronic disease. When did you ever hear of a child having a chronic disease like heart disease, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, obesity, chronic pain, all these things that are more acceptable in the aging population, the baby boomers, 70 and above. But I believe that people are fed up and people have realized, and the pandemic helped a great deal because in the pandemic, many people's inner voice, right, told them that, you know what, maybe these things that they're telling us, like isolating yourself, masks that don't even cover the spread of viruses.
They don't protect anything.
Most people were using the masks that have no scientific validity that protects you from sharing the virus. And then the vaccine, which created so much controversy around the world because many medical doctors themselves did not take the vaccine and decided not to promote it to their patients. So all of that propelled this movement now that we see that is not just about making America healthy, it's about making everyone healthy again. That's really what the message should be. But the only thing, and what I wrote the book, is the only thing that reverses chronic disease, in my opinion, is the fact that we have to make a better choice today when it comes to our health than what we did yesterday. So in the book, I outline pretty much the history of how did we get so sick? What are the contributors to that sickness? What are the root causes? And then I identified most of the biggest chronic diseases, so people will recognize not only what does the science say, what caused it, but more importantly, what can I do today? So what I did is I did a 30-day challenge after every chapter, guiding people like, these are 3 things that you can do week 1, 3 things that you can do week 2. And by the end of 30 days, I'm hoping that this will be a habit for life, that they will realize that by doing those things, they begin to notice a change, not only in their symptoms, but in the way they felt as a whole.
Yeah. And when I was listening to you speak, when you first started, what was so impactful to me is you made the comment, you said, I live each day as though I don't have the next.
Yeah.
And I mean, if people just took that concept, it's like, what would you do today?
Yeah.
And even if you take it further back, like what if you only got half a day? What would you do right now, today, with the relationships, the people, with your health, with even your thought process, to make maybe not just yourself, it's got to be bigger than yourself, but like the world a better place. And that's what I love about your passion is, yeah, man. And again, it's all a choice. I when listening to Del Bigtree speak today, oh man, that man's passion just, whew, which again, being here, an honor. So thank you. Yeah. His thing was about, moving mountains. We think about moving mountains, and he goes, what if the concept was like, it just takes the faith of a mustard seed to move a mountain. He goes, what if it's just moving a mustard seed over and over and over again to build the mountain? And that's what creates the mountain. I think that's what the movement is. Yeah. That's what we're trying to create here, especially when it comes to our health. Is more than just that word. Yeah. It's life. Yeah. It really is. 'Cause you lose. I mean, I had somebody once say, this meat package that you're carrying around, there is more to it than just this. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting because a lot of times people ask me questions and I tell them that as doctors, we're trained to look at the body from a cellular perspective.
Right.
So we don't look at only the shell. Yeah. Right. And many people define themselves as their shell, and most people, unfortunately, don't like their shell. Right. Many times, just because of the way their body type is, sometimes it's because of the decisions they made before that have led them to not look. Like I never forget this. I went to my 30-year reunion in high school, and I was shocked. I mean, I saw that the football players, the ones that were all buffed and looking great, were like the biggest beer bellies, and they were just not taking care of themselves at all. Yeah. And then I saw that the cheerleaders that everybody was all excited about, all of a sudden were not the prettiest. And then the nerdy that nobody paid attention to now is a supermodel.
Drop dead gorgeous.
It's like, what happened? And the reality of it is we are the sum of our choices. It's that simple. And I want people to be empowered. I don't want people to think that just because someone out there that was trained in a particular way has an opinion and all of a sudden says you have a disease process that is a life sentence. Right. That is your identity. Yeah. I often tell people when I did rotations in hospitals before I entered chiropractic, I would always ask my professors, why is it that we never talk about the person? Why is it that we talk about a chart number and a disease? And he said, well, we're trying to keep the privacy. And I said, but you know what? That person is laying right there and they're being told, they're being acted like if they're not even there. I said, this is a human being. Yeah. That may be carrying a symptomatic process that somebody names a disease. I don't believe in diseases because the worst thing about diseases is now you're labeling an individual, and then that label comes with a set of prescriptions, right, that have been identified and told the doctors, whenever you see these symptoms, whenever you have this disease, put them on this. Well, we in functional medicine, we in holistic sciences, we look at the person. Yeah. And we go back into the person, and that's what we do, DNA testing. That's what we do, functional testing. That's what we want to look at markers of inflammation 10, 15, 20 years before a symptom will show up. Yeah. This is what people need to understand. The answers are here now. We just have to be willing to say, I'm not satisfied with the opinion of my medical doctor. I want to go to a holistic natural science doctor that has all these capabilities to helping me, and it's time for me to be helped because I'm struggling and I don't want to live like this any longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple. And that's the thing. Again, it's just the choices. So I want to get into this because, I mean, like I said, you look like you're 38. You're.
Somebody told me today 25, but thank you for the 38. Well, I'll take it. I'm actually look at myself as 21, honestly.
Beautiful.
And I only want to be 21 just so I can be legal. But I mean, I only feel better than I was 21 years old. I look better. You know, you've helped me a lot in that recently, especially. I look better. I feel better than I was 21 years old, and I'm about to be 60 years old.
That's beautiful. Tell those that are listening, that are watching, like, what is it that you do? Like, what's your routine? What's your process?
That's a great one. You know, so I was doing Dave Asprey's Biohacking conference, and there was an interviewer there, and they asked me a question, and they say, what's your biggest biohacking secret? And I actually didn't have to think twice. Yeah. I said, my number one biohacking secret has always been that I get adjusted chiropractically once a week minimum, sometimes twice a week for the last 38 years. Since I entered school, I have never missed a week. Wow. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. I will knock on your office and I say, hey, I'm visiting town. Would you mind checking me? I feel like I could use an adjustment. Yeah. So that's the first one. The second one is when about 20 years ago, I was struggling to trying to identify when my workout could be, where it could be consistent. Yeah. And because at that time, my kids were young, I decided that the only time that I could be consistent with my workout was to do it before anyone else woke up in the household. Mm-hmm. So I would be, my gym open at 5:30. I would be always the first one in my gym. I would come back at 6:30, almost 7 by the time they were waking up to go to school. And I would have time with them and quality time and then go to work after that. Yeah. And because of that, I have been very consistent with my physical workouts. And then later on, I realized that your physical body is one thing, but what about your emotional and spiritual component? So then I began to add the emotional component by reading positive, inspirational books, podcasts, anything I could, YouTube videos, anything I could get myself a hold of. And then also spend some quality time with my spiritual side. Yeah. And my spiritual side could be maybe being around nature. So I realize that I'm part of something bigger than myself. Yeah. Or maybe it's reading the scripture. Or maybe it's potentially listening to a meditation or doing brain tap to rewire my brain. And that's really a ritual that I have every morning. I always say that I'm like a bank account. The more that I deposit on me, the more that I have to give to others. Well, the first 2 hours of the day is about Fab. Yeah. That is my deposit. I'm depositing on me all day long because I know I give a lot during the day. Yeah. So the only way that I don't get depleted is by never missing that deposit. And that's my motivation every morning.
I love it. I love it. I think that, and I know people are like, well, I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
You make the time.
You make the time.
You don't, you look, I go to bed, and you know this, I go to bed at 9 or 9:30. Yeah. Now, you know, and I do that not because I'm tired. Yeah. It's because I know the importance of 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Yeah. And when I wake up at 5 or 5:30, I'm ready to go. And I remember Tony Robbins when I was 22 years old. So I met his mentor, Jim Rohn, first. And Jim taught me the greatest lesson in life, or one of the greatest lessons. I said, you become the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. He said, Fab, the only thing I would tell you is be selective of who you surround yourself with. Be selective who your friends are. Be selective who you do business with. Be selective who you hang around socially with. Be selective who you may marry one day, because at the end of the day, you will become that person. Wow. So that was the first one. And then Tony Robbins, I met him a year later, and we hit it off, and he shared with me another valuable lesson. And he said that in his opinion, the first thing that you need to do is change your physiology so you can change your mindset. So he said, one of the first things he does is that he actually does exercise, heavy breathing, you know, like deep breathing is one of the best things we can do, but most of us don't do it. Yeah. He does his exercise workout. Then he does the cold plunging, and he does all of these rituals that he calls them. And then he says that when you change your state of body, automatically will shift your state of mind, allowing you to be more productive and more creative and more valuable that day. And I followed that routine since he told me that.
I love it. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. Exercise. It's a greater antidepressant than any antidepressant on the market.
I know.
It's the
and
truth.
It's free.
Yeah, it's completely free.
You can do jumping jacks, you can do push-ups, you can do sit-ups, you can do them anywhere. And then, as I evolve in this world of functional medicine, I do my testing every 6 months to a year, just because I need to keep up with what's happening in my body. And I'm talking about my functional testing. I'm not just saying I do my blood work and my urine and I expect that to happen, to tell me everything I need to know. And then, as you're very well aware of, I started really looking at not only the world of nutrition, which is very important, and I realized organic food and whole food is probably one of the best things. There's certain supplementation that is required in order for your body to have optimum. And then when I started learning about the world of peptides and you introduced me to that world, it was really revolutionary to me, because when I was writing that chapter for my book, and I told you that after the experience that I have with you, I needed to share that with the world. And you were so generous in helping me make sure that my science was accurate and that I was saying what it was true, because you've been in this space a lot longer than me. What I realized is that the world of peptides is a world that unfortunately most people still don't understand. And what I got from it initially is the fact that peptides are just not only the chain of amino acids, but they're actually your GPS system of the body. They're the ones that actually carry whatever information, whatever value you need to the right place the fastest. So that way there's no waste of time. So that's why people feel the benefits so quickly, And I know nutrition sometimes gets wasted, or sometimes nutrition gets into the whole bloodstream, never reaching the potential cell or organ that need it immediately. Well, with peptides, you can actually accelerate that process in a way that you feel the change right away. And they're natural substances that people need to understand and do their due diligence to realize that, okay, so if I was to work on any area of my body that I feel I could use some support, maybe some fast track, maybe some guidance, then which will be the right peptides? And that's why I love this show, because with your knowledge and the guests that you bring, and I've told you many times, anytime I have a question, I always call you, and you're so generous because you're one of the best educators when it comes to this subject matter.
Oh, I'm honored that you say that. Thank you so much. It's been a beautiful journey, and I enjoy every single phone call that we have. It's fun because hey, and we just
there's a lot of energy always.
Yeah, there is a ton of energy. It's hey, and there's a peptide for that, You
do have peptides for just about anything I called you for.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, everything from tanning to obviously strength.
Yeah.
Endurance. It's just even DNA repair. And that's the beautiful part about this, is that peptides span such a wide variety of things within the body, the system, but they're exactly what you said. They're so specific.
Well, and what I love is the fact that you've taken the time not to only help thousands of patients, but you're actually educating us doctors into not only how to understand it, but how to implement it into our practices. And I think that's important, because being an educator, right, and I've trained a lot of people, thousands of doctors, I can tell you that unfortunately we don't have that in our schools. So the only way that me as a doctor I can learn about peptides is to actually do some postgraduate work, or maybe attend one of your seminars where you take us through a journey and you break it down for us in a way that we can truly understand it by the time we leave, but more importantly, be able to implement it so we can start helping our patients.
Implementation's the key. I mean, we can't help anybody if we don't know how to implement something. That's the old saying, knowledge is power. And I said, knowledge isn't power. It's the application of that knowledge. It's the power. And that's why I love education so much. I think that's another, great thing that we definitely connect with. And it's just been, Fab, truly thank you for coming on here. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing.
Well, we're going to do it more often.
Yes,
and I love the fact that you've been in my podcast, and man, that was one of the I did a master class with you not that long ago, and it still today is one of the most watched master class that we've had, just because there's so much interest in this subject matter, and people are starving for answers.
Well, they are. To me, I mean, I say to me, but I truly believe that peptides, they're the future of medicine. Yeah. And I use the word medicine loosely just because of the fact of we think of medicine as pharmakeia, the pharmaceutical industry. But to me, this is the future of like strategic precision medicine and the safety profile, the application. It's beyond anything else that's out there. So, Fab, how can people get a hold of you? How can they need your book? So y'all, like, you got to get his book, Self-Health. Let them know.
Well, if you go to my website, drfabmancini.com, drfabmancini.com. From there, you can actually not only buy the book and get over $1,000 worth of resources for free, just to help you be able to deal with your health issues. But you can also follow me in my podcast. You can also see my live events. I have also a mentoring program that if you find yourself out there wanting to scale, wanting to grow your business, I've been doing mentoring for a very selected group. And I'm also the advisor for many global CEO companies that are really making an impact in the world of healthcare. So that's really the place to go, because from there you can actually set up a time with me or even email me directly where I can actually answer your questions, and it will be me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I truly love and admire about you is that it's the accessibility.
Yeah.
For somebody that's transforming and changing so many lives. Usually it's the opposite. It's like harder and harder to get a hold of somebody. But again, that just goes back to your heart.
We know what I learned? That came from a very personal thing. My mentors were very famous always. And I noticed that the more famous that people became, the more isolated they became. And it's because you start removing yourself away from the people. And when I've been in positions of power and thousands of people are there to see me, I don't hide in a suite. I don't hide in a private room. No, I'm in the floor because you are there, and I want to honor you for being there, for making the time to come into one of my events, one of my programs, whatever it is that I'm doing at the book signing, whatever. And I never forget, Hay House published my last book, and they said to me, you know, we've had some of the biggest authors like Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and so many. And she said to me, they usually tell us that for the book signing, it's a limit of 30 minutes. And I said, well, with me, I signed for 3, 4, 5, 6. One time I signed 7 hours without going to the bathroom, one after the other. The lines were so big after my speech. And that's because I truly believe, and my mom and my dad were instrumental in this. They always say that, please do not make your success about you. We're here to serve others. Yeah. And the way you serve others is by making always yourself very humble. The more famous you become, the more powerful you become, the harder you have to work to stay humble. And the way to stay humble is to never make it about you. Make it about the work that we do and the fact that we want to impact as many people as we can.
The mission. Yeah. I love it, Fab. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
So much. I just want to say thank you for listening today. The Peptide Pulse, this is becoming more and more incredible. And having people like you on here is even beyond my own expectations. But if you'd like to get more information on the Peptide Pulse, our episodes, please make sure that you subscribe. You got to click that button because that's going to allow more people to hear these stories and truly have their lives transformed. That's what the mission is. So thank you so much. Thank you, Doc.
Thanks.